It is the Crosby Scholars Free Student Parent Webinar. Tonight, we're going to be talking about volunteering. I am recording this session to make sure that any parents and students that are interested in getting this information, it's available. This content is for anybody, any age, but middle schoolers and early high school students especially. It's helpful to understand volunteering and how it can help you, so that you have plenty of time to use all of these opportunities to build your resume and be ready to apply for either a job or what's next. So we're going to talk a little bit about the definition of volunteering, the impact on the community, how this helps students, where you can find opportunities, how resumes can be built. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what colleges are looking for and what they see in this process, go over some final thoughts, and give time for questions. So, what is volunteering? At its very basic, volunteering means offering your time and services to help others without expecting payment in return. Now, in Iredell County for Crosby Scholars, especially when COVID hit, our philosophy is like, see a need, fill a need. You can volunteer at all kinds of places in the community. But what this also does is it helps to connect people, it helps to strengthen the community, and it creates a culture of giving. So, in my mind, Crosby Scholars requires that each of our students volunteer every year that they're in the program a minimum of 2 hours. But we know that to get the most benefit out of serving in the community and giving back to the community, you're going to volunteer more than that, especially if you find someplace to volunteer that you really have a heart for the cause, and you'll probably spend way more hours than that. So, one of the reasons why Crosby Scholars has students volunteer in the community is because we want to have an impact on the community. The community is helping to provide our services for students and families for free. So we want to give back. So one of the things that volunteering does in the community and how it impacts is it addresses local needs, right? Volunteers help to address hunger, environmental preservation, the street cleanup, or cleaning up the lake, or and also education. And this can be more than just school. This could be educating members of the community about a cause like Alzheimer's, or American Heart Association, or a diabetes walk, or that kind of thing. So it helps, volunteers help to address those needs. It brings people together. So projects usually bring people, they create a sense of unity and support within communities. I will tell you that if you're ever been involved with an organization that you volunteer with more than once, you meet people. You see them time and time again. You are expanding your friendships. You are, helping some people. You might actually be helping clients. And at the end of the day, you'll see that they are helped, and then they come back to help the next person. So it really is very cool how serving brings people together. It also raises support and awareness. So one of the things that volunteers do is, when many people come together to help support a cause, they they get firsthand knowledge and perception of what, you're kind of walking in somebody's shoes, and you might be, wow, there's hunger, there's homelessness in Iredell County, really? In your part of Iredell County, there might not be any homeless people, but if you go to a location to help people and you see this, you're like, wow, wait, that's a problem. How can I do something to help? Maybe I need to go talk to somebody else. You talk to your friends, you get them to come help you, and then all of a sudden, more people are helping. and you're bringing time and money and things to the community. Um, Volunteering also has a financial impact on the community. So I looked up a study and it said the average value of that's associated with a volunteer hour is $35 an hour. So Crosby Scholars, since this morning, just for this school year, have reported 6,723 service hours. So that is a value of over $235,000, $305 that we have put back into the community. When an organization like a nonprofit has a volunteer to come help with an activity, that means that frees up their staff members, their paid staff, to do things that will then continue to drive their cause. If their staff members can go write grants or go do fundraising while other operational things are being done by volunteers, that kind of doubles the impact of the volunteer service, right? So we have a great impact on the community. Just around this wheel here in Iredell County, there are several food banks, as well as churches, schools, and libraries that use volunteers. There's homeless shelters, warming stations. I had to put cats and dogs because there's lots of animals. Rescue Ranch. There's the Humane Society, and then cleanup of the environment, cleanup of it's funny because Rescue Ranch came and talked at our last in-person academy, and one of the things they were looking for was they were looking for volunteers to come help and clean their facility, right? That way their staff members could be freed up to do, taking care of the animals or whatever. But anyway, so cleanup, especially during like Hurricane Helene, and relief efforts, cleanup was a huge thing. For that kind of thing as well. All right, so volunteering we know helps the community, but how does it help your students? How does it help students, high school, middle school students, even elementary school students? So one of the things that volunteering does is it helps you to develop new skills. So you can build leadership, communication, problem solving, and teamwork skills. I always tell students when I talk to them that, nonprofits, they really need help and they need expertise. And if you were a teenager and you wanted to create a website for Bank of America, they would probably say no. They're not going to let a teenager do that. But if you go to a nonprofit who doesn't really have staff that's experienced with social media, and a teenager wants to volunteer to help them out with that capacity, they're probably going to say yes. And so you're going to get real life experience as well, that you can then use in the future to show that you can do things, trial and error with social media, with nonprofits, that kind of thing. It offers real life experiences, and it helps you work with diverse groups of people, right? Like, as we said, you might be living in an area that doesn't have any homelessness, but going out of your little circle and entering into a community that is trying to help homeless folks. You're learning how to talk to different kinds of people. You're learning how to interact, be empathetic and sympathetic, right? Um, your students also get a confidence boost, right? Helping others can increase a student's self-esteem and sense of accomplishment. I will tell you, whenever I talk to someone who is kind of down and they're like, woe is me, I sometimes ask them, tell me a little bit about your day in the life and how are you reaching out to other people? Um, and it's really important, if you're focused on you, it can be very overwhelming, but like focusing out and looking to help others, um, it not only kind of gets you out of yourself, but it also can give you a boost, like, you know what, I can do things, right? Um, Lastly, it helps students to make connections. So I am all about networking, and I say this to many Crosby scholars and in many Crosby events. But volunteering opens doors to meeting people, building networks, and possibly gaining mentors that can help you with additional opportunities or coach you through certain things. I like to use the Back to School Bash as an example of this. There are two versions of the Back to School Bash here in Iredell County. The one in the southern part of the county, they have reached out and have had student directors, student trainers, students really manage those events with the guidance of adults. But it's really exciting to see a student in a leadership role at such a huge event, right? So building connections is really important. Okay. So the next question that we typically get from students and families is, where can I find opportunities in Iredell County? So the first, elephant in the room that I want to address is, when you're an elementary school student or a middle school student, sometimes a lot of organizations that are looking for volunteers have a minimum age. So what we have found is that a lot of these organizations, if the parent is willing to volunteer with the student, then the student can get that opportunity. Um, there have been also organizations that, like for instance, Crosby Scholars, we get with organizations that need help, and then by having our staff member or a couple of parents, then other students that might not be old enough have the ability to, fold those newsletters, or clean up something, or build kits, or do whatever. So first you start with local organizations, right? Look internally. So where do you go to school? Your first way to find a way to volunteer. How can you help your teachers? How can you help your school administrators? Do they have school cleanup days? I know that at some of the high schools, like the Beta Club, they do classroom cleanups for their service hours. You can actually even tutor, if you can be a volunteer tutor at your school. If you are a part of an organization like sports or something like that, when you are participating in that sport, that is not volunteering. I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. However, if your sport leads a clinic for younger students to explore the sport, or to give exposure to students who would not have the opportunity to learn tennis or lacrosse or whatever, then that time it would be considered service. Okay, so start with your schools. Then local libraries sometimes have youth leadership or other volunteer opportunities, or they might actually have opportunities posted at the library where local people need help. Food banks, you have the Christian Mission, Feed NC, Fifth Street Ministries. I think the Salvation Army has a food bank around here. I'm not quite sure how their volunteer situation works. There's also churches. If you attend a church, so just going to church, that is not service hours. However, if you are helping with their vacation Bible school in the summer, or you go on a mission trip, or you are with your youth group going to fix somebody's roof or clean up their yard, right? That would be considered service. Homeless shelters, again, parks and rec sometimes have cleanup days, but you want to start local. You want to start with something personal that you have a heart for, right? Who do you know that needs help? How can you connect with that person and other community members? Okay. There are some online resources to help you find volunteer opportunities. The United Way here in Iredell County has created the Hive, which is helping Iredell volunteers engage. So you can go to United Way Hive in Iredell County, and you can register. And a lot of organizations are going to that website to request volunteer help. You can also look at volunteermatch.org. There's an organization called Hands On Northwest North Carolina. And then Crosby Scholars on our website. We also have a section for volunteers. I think this month, actually, I think tonight, one of them is like the local schools and middle schools. One was having a dance that they needed help with. They needed high school volunteers to help with math nights at two of the elementary schools in the area. So, we have helped with the balloon rally in the past. I know I am looking for people to help with the senior celebration. So, you can look online for those resources. Other things, national organizations. Many national organizations will have a local footprint. I've listed the Red Cross. The Red Cross typically has like you can donate blood. But they typically have an age limit for a lot of their service hours. But like Habitat for Humanity, there are veterans organizations, AmeriCorps. I think of, like I said, Alzheimer's, American Red Cross or American Heart Association, the juvenile diabetes. These organizations usually have walks like 5Ks or something like that, and you can like with color runs, like where they're throwing color and 5Ks and that kind of thing. But they're larger organizations that are looking for help locally to raise funds for a big common cause. So that if you have any questions about how to find opportunities to serve in Iredell County, reach out. We'll help try to connect you somewhere. Okay. The other thing we want to talk about is students can build their resume. So like we mentioned before, student nonprofits might give students the ability to do things that a business might not allow a student to do. But you are actually, when you are serving in the community, you are helping with like traits and characteristics, right? Volunteering shows your commitment, your responsibility, your willingness to help others. These are valuable traits, potential to employers and to colleges, by the way. Volunteering allows you to list concrete skills like event planning, teamwork, fundraising, job experience. Even though it's unpaid, volunteering is still relevant work, and it can set you apart from other applicants. Now, how do colleges look at volunteering? So, I've got 4 categories here. So first off, colleges value community involvement, right? They're looking, just like on the previous slide, they're looking to see how students are engaging. Are they taking the initiative? Are they doing something beyond the classroom? And to take it a step further, is it associated with what they want to do in the future? Sometimes can be what they're looking for. So for instance, if you want to be a nurse or interested in healthcare, then volunteering with like healthcare type things might be something good to try to do, right? Volunteering also shows your dedication and character, right? It reflects your ability to manage time, work with diverse groups of people, and commit to long-term goals. So when you're building your resume or activities list for a college, they want to know that I can keep my grades up and go to school and do other things to manage my time. So that is something. Volunteering also helps with scholarships. Many, many, many scholarships, whether it is driven by the school or a nonprofit or other organizations, they will not only ask you to write a resume, or not a resume, but they'll have you write like an essay or answer a prompt but they'll also want to see your resume or activities list, and they are looking to see how you are helping in the community. What kind of service are you doing? Now, I will tell you, I attended a call a long, long time ago. I can't remember the name of the organization, but colleges they value depth and breadth as opposed to one-time things. So if you went to Operation Christmas Child and you packed one shoebox and you turned it in, that doesn't look very impressive, right? If you spent 1 hour once, whatever. Um, but if you are consistent with your service, you pick an organization that you find that you really have a heart for, and you volunteer time there over all 4 years of high school. So like I volunteer at Rescue Ranch. I volunteer at Rescue Ranch 10 weeks a year, from ninth grade to 12th grade, right? It's not, quantity. It's not like I volunteered 200 hours at 200 different places, but I volunteered, 50 hours at one place, right? This is where your Girl Scouts, your Gold Award, right? That's like 80 hours, on one project, your Eagle Scout. I had a student who volunteered at the VA in Salisbury in some capacity over his years. He volunteered over 300 hours across the 4 years that he was in high school. And he actually ended up getting a scholarship from the VA. I don't remember what it was, but it was like 5 years ago. So, the depth and breadth, the more that you do for the one organization looks really good to colleges, right? Um, it's been described to me as a cake tier, right? So everybody raise their hand if you've ever volunteered. The whole room raises their hand, right? So that's the bottom layer of the cake. That's everybody. The next level up is that you have done something significant with time. The next level up is you're helping to lead, and then the top tier that Harvard's looking for is you've created a nonprofit and saved 2,000 children from starving to death, right? I am exaggerating, but there are people that, go and do something very significant in their volunteering. So again, see a need, fill a need, okay? Um, I am going to show you one of the things that we want to just point out is that Crosby Scholars, we really need to know what you've done. So we have a lot of students who are doing some great things in the community, but if you do not fill out the form on our website, we will not know that you did these great things. So it's a very simple form. You log into your Crosby Connect account. You're just going to put your name. You're going to put the name of the organization that you volunteered for. You are going to tell us the date. And if you did it over multiple dates, just pick one date, right? The end date or the beginning date. We don't care. And then you're going to put the total number of hours and a short description of what you did. And then at the bottom, there's contact information, and that's contact information for the nonprofit that you did the service for, the organization. A lot of people are putting their own information in there. No, it needs to be somebody from the organization. Now, they're not verifying it. We're not getting any signatures, but we do reach out to all of these organizations to let them know that they have had Crosby Scholars helping them and that we really appreciate the opportunity. And if they need help in the future, that they should contact us because we want to continue to have those opportunities for our students in the future. So I'll show you this in a minute once I get through these slides. Some final thoughts, volunteering helps to build stronger communities. You're going to develop personal skills. It's going to enhance your resume, and it's going to make you stand out to college applications, right? It's also a great way to contribute to the community, to learn and help grow as an individual. So here's some pictures of some of our Crosby Scholars out there serving in the community. We love when Crosby Scholars wear their t-shirts out in the community while they're serving. We are about to have a cleanup day coming up soon. I think it's in April. So go online and you can see that is an opportunity that anybody can do. Just sign up and let us know. We've got a street cleanup. We do adopt a street once every semester. In order to get credit, if you are a student listening to this call and you would like to get credit for attending this academy, please scan this QR code and answer the questions on the form. And everyone who completes the form will get credit for being here. So, okay, so the last thing that I want to do is I want to take you to Crosby Connect. So everybody knows you're going to sign in to Crosby Connect by going to, here, let's start at the beginning, www.crosbyscholarsIredale.org. Let me just show you on this page, if you page down, this volunteer hours service opportunity, if you click there, that's where you're going to see different opportunities with signups. So like tonight was Lakeshore, March 27th is Lake Norman Elementary School. They're still looking for volunteers. We're going to have the Adopt the Street cleanup. We've got a community pack night at one of the churches. They're looking for volunteers. Rainbow Kids Ride and Run is looking for volunteers. So again, community members reach out to us looking for volunteers. And this is just one place that you can find the ability. And then we actually have the link to the Hive here as well. But in order to enter your service hours, you're going to go to the portal. You're going to go to students. And then you're going to put in your school email. Let's see. I'm trying to remember my account. Jennifer, I think it's the iCloud one. Okay, and you're going to submit. And just as a reminder, our website does not take passwords anymore. What it does is it is giving you a 6-digit code, which I'm going to my phone to find. Check your spam. It might be there. You're going to press submit. And then it will bring you to the website. If you have not done your service, then you should see it as an upcoming task. But if you have done your service, you can simply come down to community service here in the task below, and you can click on it and you can fill another form out. One of the things I really like about the new program is that you can see the previous hours that you have entered. A lot of students will come back to us and say, hey, can you tell me where I volunteered last year? And you can actually go in and look at that yourself, right? So you're just going to click this complete form. And then this is what we were talking about before: total number of hours, date of service, name of the organization, a brief description, right? You're going to put like, what did I do? I helped show students the value of volunteering. There we go, right? And then you're going to put the contact name and the email address and or phone number, and then you're going to press submit. It did not like my date. Okay. Let's try that. There we go. So you're going to find that it goes under review first, and then we will have a staff member that will review that. You will get an email when you submit it. You will get another email when we approve it. And then when you go back to your dashboard on your home page, you will be able to see the cumulative total number of hours under this community service. So there's the QR code for any student who would like to get Academy credit.